Now, a pivotal weekend in Serie A. It could prove to be Lazio against Bologna, the early game on Saturday. AC Milan, Genoa, of course, Juventus and Inter Milan. The massive tilt on Sunday. That's the late game on Sunday. Then the one game on Monday this weekend in Serie A. However, a lot to talk about. Gab Marcotti joins us, of course, with the coronavirus flaring up in Italy. Real concerns in Italy about how the games will be played this weekend. Chance they may be played behind closed doors, Gab.
Well, not a chance. 6 of the games will be played behind closed door. The reason behind this is that basically there's been an almost in 6 regions there's been a ban on public gatherings. So not just sporting events, but concerts, the Milan Fashion Week, even Sunday Mass has all been called off. Schools are closed, bars are closed. Any places where people gather, they really want to stop that until they manage to isolate the contagion. So as a result, 6 games, as you mentioned, including Juventus Inter, will be played behind closed doors, as will this coming Thursday, Inter's game against Ludogorets in the Europa League.
Is it the right move, Gab, to have it played behind closed doors rather than just postponing and looking for a fresh date?
The problem is there are no fresh dates. The calendar is already very congested as it is. There's, in terms of some lower division teams, some of those games have been postponed. But the problem is when you're talking about clubs like Inter, like Juventus, like Atalanta, they all have European commitments as well. And so it becomes very difficult to go and find a later date, especially when, frankly, we don't know when that later date might be, because we don't know at this time how long it's going to last. This restriction this is scheduled to continue until March 1st, but it could well be extended beyond that.
What might the impact be, Gab, on the title race? I don't think it's going too far to say that, if Juventus against Inter is played behind closed doors.
Well, I mean, certainly it's, the boys in the studio might have played behind closed doors. It obviously does affect you because it's an entirely different environment to be in. More practically, it affects the clubs, in terms of box office. Milan have already said that they've already started the process of refunding all their tickets for their game this weekend against Genoa. There's been talk, possibly, in if this continues, in later rounds in the Champions League and Europa League, of maybe they can play some of these games in neutral ground, perhaps in other parts of Italy where no such restrictions exist. But right now, that's just an idea. No question it'll negatively impact the teams involved, but I think equally nobody's really talking about that because obviously what's at stake with this epidemic is much more serious.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.